Welcome to Mystics Spilling the Tea.
I'm Ashwani of Southern Fried Psychics, southernfriedpsychics.com.
I'm Leslie Hall, the Purple Rose Psychic, purplerosepsychic.com.
I'm Nicole with Rising Digital, risingdigitalstudio.com.
And we are
The Mystics Spilling the Tea.
Today's episode is one of my favorite subjects. It's loving yourself.
Oh, so important.
It's so important because Spirit speaks to you in loving tones and in love. This is how Spirit works because Spirit is here all to help you to your highest good. And so that is a loving voice. Sometimes you don't hear it because you're not loving yourself. And so I feel like that truly is where you start to hear Spirit's voice more, is when you actually start loving yourself. It took me a long time to love myself. I'm not going to lie.
Oh, same.
I mean, I always say I'm not everyone's cup of tea.
I say the same.
Some people I'm tequila. It's okay. It's okay. But loving yourself is one of the biggest parts, I feel, of the metaphysical world. When you start working with the metaphysical things and you start actually hearing that higher voice speaking to you, you actually, the cups are all about love. Your cups are all about relationships and love. And I always say it's almost like you have an empty cup inside of you you never knew you had until it starts filling up with Spirit's love. And so that's really, it's kind of cool because you have all these cups inside of you. Love from your parents, love from your siblings, love from your friends, love from your neighbors. But this one cup is designed strictly for Spirit. And so, and it can't be accessed as easily if you don't love yourself.
That's true.
And so I feel like that's really important. Loving yourself is really important. And so what does that really mean to you?
I think it's a lot of things, but you can start with like small things. Like one way to love yourself, I can speak for me, is I have to go within and be like, self, what do you want? Self, what am I not addressing? What needs paying attention? What do I need more of? And a lot of times I'll just get little nuances like take your vitamins more, eat healthier, skip a dessert, or, pay attention to nature, go outside and look at the stars, stargaze, things that I love doing, but I'll get so much sometimes in action, too much wand energy. And I'm not doing those things that bring me great pleasure and joy and time of just stop and smell the roses. Or salt baths. God, I can't tell you the last time I took one. Even though I'm buying some magical salts from a witch friend of mine, I can't tell you the last time I had one.
I understand that. Yourself is talking to yourself and trying to give yourself self-love.
Yeah.
So, to me, I'm just going to say, a lot of it starts with me with forgiving myself for not being what I think I should be sometimes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so my self-love is a little more hurtful and painful than your self-love.
It depends on the day.
Yeah, it depends on the day for sure.
But I mean, here's the thing. We all fall short on some things.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Giving yourself grace is giving yourself love.
Yeah.
And that's one of the things that takes time to really understand. I was the youngest. Trust me, I compared myself to my sisters and brother, and I was never feeling like I was good enough. Okay, well, dexterously, I'm behind them years, so I'm not going to be as good as them at the things that we were doing. But as a child, you don't see that.
Right.
Because you don't see the difference of the years. And so it does make it harder for you to really go, oh, man, I really sucked. I mean, my sister was great at piano. I was not. My sister was great at baton. I was not. She was 4 years older than me. Okay, that's a big difference. 8 and 12 is a big difference.
Yeah.
So it makes you, so when you start feeling that and seeing that as a child, you start kind of dogging yourself some.
Yep.
But what I've discovered is like as I've grown older, as I start going, oh my gosh, they're 4 years difference. That's a big difference. You start seeing that, and then you stop that comparison. When you stop comparing yourself to others,
Yep.
that is self love.
Agreed.
That I think starts some self love that you don't have to be as good as the next person. Guess
Yeah.
what? You just have to be better than you were yesterday.
Yeah.
That's it. That's
Yep.
all you have to be.
Yep.
That is self love.
Yep.
Self love is saying, you know what? I may have said some bad things to people when I was in high school. Guess what? I was in high school. I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But guess what? I can forgive myself. That's self love.
I had to do that. I mean, like, what I thought was my biggest goal in the world was always to be a mom. I always wanted to be a mom because I wanted to be a better version of my parents of what I had, even though, I'm by no means perfect. Never. That doesn't exist. But I compared myself to both my sisters. They both had children. I physically could not have children. And I felt like a failure all my life because I was raised, a woman marries a man, you take care of your man. Well, I'm screwed. Not only can I not have kids, but I'm gay. So that's not happening in my world. So I always was reminded of I'm a sinner, I'm burning, I'm going to hell, I'm not successful, I'm not this, I'm not that, blah, blah, blah. Well, the moment that I stopped comparing myself to my siblings was the moment that I did give myself self-love. And I'm like, you know what? Actually, where I'm at in my life, I'm actually kind of glad I didn't have kids because I'm not passing on all the toxic generational defunct that I had on both sides of my family. And I'm a mother to lots of other women's children because I teach psychic classes and things like that. But it takes a village a lot of time to raise kids. So I'm one of those that if I see something wrong, I'm going to say something. Or if I see a predator coming toward that child, I'll protect your child because your back was turned and you were talking to a friend. That doesn't make you wrong. That just means I had eyes there. I'm going to help you because you were doing something for you in that moment. Because you can't be everywhere, all things, all the time.
Yeah.
So that's how I was able to heal. But it took me 10 years to get over the fact that I'll never be a mom.
Yeah, that's
I
a
can
really
see
hard
that,
one.
because
I
sometimes you
understand
think
that.
you're less than.
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Well, if I can't have kids, then what am I?
Yeah.
I was already sexually molested as a kid. So I thought you took my, not femininity, but I thought you took my, I don't know, sovereignty. It's not the word I want to use, but that's what word's coming up.
Right.
And then when I had a full hysterectomy at the age of 31, you took all my female parts. Then I'm like, then what am I for?
The feeling of less than comes from a lot of things. It comes from physical things like that. It comes from emotional things of not meeting a goal that you feel like you should have met, not achieving what you feel like society thinks you should have achieved. But when you actually sit back and you stop feeling the less than, and you stop putting that less than on you and start realizing the what ifs, or that I am this, or that I have done this, or I am better than what I thought I was, you start turning that negative energy into positive energy. That's another thing that attracts spirit and your angels is positive energy. I can tell you negative energy only attracts negative thoughts and negative. It's funny because I've read for someone and they're like, there's this dark entity, and the dark entity was their negative thoughts.
Yeah, I knew that. Yeah.
And so their negative thoughts are the dark energy that's following them. And so that's the reason why I feel like loving yourself is a really great way to release yourself from having some kind of expectation that you're not going to meet.
Right.
It's also loving yourself to say, I am here. I woke up this morning, and if that's the best I can do today, guess what? That's okay.
Yep.
I still love myself. I know a lot of people don't know this, but I have lupus, and lupus is a very chronic disease that can really wreak havoc in your life. It gives you horrible fog brain. I was working, and I would have to write down every step to do something. I had to write it down, and then I had to check it off for each file to make sure I did everything right, because I would forget steps. And I describe it as when you were in junior high and you went to a slumber party and you were supposed to sleep, but you stayed up all night long. And the next morning you had brain fog. I mean, like all day you were just brain dead fog. That's how lupus is. Not only that, it creates a lot of pain in your life. It's pain in your joints. It's pain. It's bilateral pain. So if your left knee hurts, your right knee hurts. I can remember my husband telling me that there were nights that he said you whimpered in your sleep from pain.
Goodness.
And so you don't even pay attention to it. Like I can tell you, I would take all my meds and drive to wherever I had to drive to work, and I would work, and I would come home, and I could be, really tired, but I still was a mom. I still had things to do. But that could make me really feel like I'm not worthy of anything. That could make me feel like I'm less than. But somehow I didn't let that beat me. There's something about taking that and really going, no, not today. And I had so many friends that would say, why don't you just file for disability and just stay home? And I'm like, what would I do all day? Stay in bed and feel bad? I'm like, I'd rather get up and walk and feel bad, because there'll be a day I won't be able to walk maybe. So I'm walking today. I can walk. And it's that kind of push that causes you to really start appreciating some of the things that you accomplish. And like I said, sometimes it's just getting up in the morning, brushing your teeth. You may go back to bed, but guess what? You got up, you brushed your teeth. Give yourself a gold star, because that may have been the best you could do that day.
Yeah.
Because all you can do is your best.
Yeah.
But loving yourself for doing your best, and loving yourself and forgiving yourself for not being who you thought you would be, is perfectly fine and is the best gift you can give yourself. And it's sometimes hard to look in the mirror and go, I love you. But look in the mirror sometimes and just go, you're standing, and I kind of like who you are. If you don't like who you are, change it.
Yep.
Because if you change it to make yourself happy, then that's where your happiness is going to turn into loving yourself. Being happy is a choice. I wake up each morning, I could be either happy or I could be unhappy.
Yeah, in our shamanic training, we had to literally do mirror work, which was some of the hardest work I've ever done. Is this was after my full hysterectomy. So I was cut hip to hip, 17 staples. So from edge to edge. And I didn't realize until we did the mirror work that I couldn't even look myself in the mirror, because when I would look at myself in the mirror, all I would see is, God, you're such an ugly monster.
Because of the scar being so big.
Yep. And the way it healed didn't heal well. It took me 6 months for my skin to actually grow back together, because I had busted open after surgery because they took the staples out too soon. Well, then I had open gaping wound, hip to hip. There was only an inch hanging on. And so the doctor, instead of him doing his job, he's like, oh, you should have come in sooner. I said, why do you think I called you? I told you I busted open. Oh, well, I thought you were exaggerating. Most women exaggerate.
Yeah, it's a funny thing when doctors say, well, most women, it's like,
yeah,
that's a funny thing. Part of that, like we all have scars. I have a C-section with Whitney.
Yeah.
Cut from side to side.
My mom has
Absolutely.
C-section, both of us.
So when you have these things and you're having all of these issues and everything, it's really easy to say, I suck. It's really easy to say, or if you're in the depths of having some kind of addiction, it's easy to say, I suck. Why should I try?
Or I'm a slave to it.
Yeah, it's hard to see the end. But I really feel like loving yourself is your first step in anything positive happening to you, in anything changing your trajectory, of changing who you are, of changing your happiness level, of changing just your outlook and your vibration. Here's the thing. We all know that negative vibration, what does it attract?
More negative vibration.
More negative vibration. Positive vibration, positive vibration. unless you're an empath and you attract both. Just so you know.
And it's okay. You can't be positive 100% of the time. You're going to have off days, down days, things like that. So I want to make sure we also say that.
But as an empath, you do attract both, and it's really
Yes.
sometimes it's
You got to
it's
weed
hard.
through it.
You got to weed through some of those, because sometimes it's not your emotions you're feeling,
Right.
and that's where it gets really
To ask.
wonky. But
That's mine or
again,
someone else's.
yeah. So there are times that I have a wave of like, I'm like, oh my gosh, something just, and I feel like really, really despair and feel down, and I'm like, freeze. Is this you? Is this someone around you? You walk through someone's field. Start changing that. And so you have to change that back and everything. But again, it all reverts to, how do you change that back so quickly? By loving yourself. Because that gives you that gateway. So loving yourself, think of that vibration, how it changes everything. And then you start talking to spirit. And you hear spirit, and you feel spirit, and you feel the love spirit has for you. And like I said, that cup inside you then just starts filling up, and it becomes this beautiful cup you had never even knew you had inside you. One that is so full that you just can't even imagine that it was even empty ever. You never even felt the emptiness of it until you had it. So now that you have it, you're like, I don't want to ever lose it. And that's another thing, to where you have to give yourself grace on a lot of things.
Oh, yeah.
We're human.
Yeah.
We all make mistakes.
Yep.
We all make mistakes. It's just the way we are.
They're growth opportunities.
Yeah. Everything's a learning opportunity when you make something. But again, love yourself enough to go, okay, I'm okay. That happened.
Yep.
I learned from it. I'm okay.
What would I do different? It's
And I
okay
love
to
myself.
assess.
Yeah.
Yep.
And I love myself. I can be angry with me, but I still love myself. I might be mad at me for making a mistake that was stupid. But again, I go back to who am I really, and who do I want to be?
Yeah.
And that love, again, for yourself is something that makes spirit want to talk to you and raise your vibration. And so there are exercises you can do to raise your love for yourself. Again, I think every woman should sit and just every once in a while just take an assessment. What do I like about myself? What do I love about myself? Turn that like into, what do I love about myself? And it's okay to love yourself. It's interesting because I think women aren't taught to love themselves
Totally.
as much as men are taught to love themselves.
Well, yeah, because we're taught to put everyone in front of you. So, like, when you get married, you focus on your spouse and their needs as well. When you have children, your children come first. So, every woman I've ever met who became a mother has usually put themselves either close to last or dead last.
Yeah, it's hard as a woman not to put yourself first. So when you get a chance, I do want you to sit down. I do want you to meditate a little bit, and I want you just to feel yourself. I want you to be on the outside of yourself, viewing yourself, and I want you to see yourself, and I want you to see that you're beautiful, that everything about you is beautiful. Every flaw is a beautiful flaw. Every flaw tells a story of who you are, and your story is you're beautiful and that you are loved. And I want you to see that from the outside of you. I want you to look at yourself and really evaluate and tell yourself the parts you love about yourself. And I want you to tell yourself the parts you love about who you are on the inside. What did you do today that made you feel like you were loving yourself? You know, sometimes I go and get a pedicure because I love myself. I'm not going to lie. I love myself enough to go get a pedicure every once in a while. I go and get a massage. What is it I want to do for myself to say, thank you for being the shell of the body that you are. Thank you for being the soul that's in this body and helping me through this life, because life is hard.
Yeah.
This soul inside this body is doing all that it can. I'm sure whenever it signed a contract to come back here, it had no idea what it was getting into. I'm sure no one said, hey, you're going to be a Sagittarius, and let me tell you something. it's going to be a wild ride and you're going to work yourself to death. So get ready, girlfriend. No, I'm sure it didn't say that. I'm sure it was like, oh, it's Ozzy and Harriet down there. Go on down. Come on down. You can be the next contestant. And let's make this life.
I relate to that because even as a Pisces, no one tells you that not only will you feel your own things, but you're going to feel everyone else's. And then you're going to interpret it as if it's your own. And then you're going to take everything personally.
Yeah. And see, that's a whole nother thing. It's like, it is really hard. There is a lot of cattiness that goes on at work. I'm not going to lie to you. There's a lot of
I think
cattiness.
every work probably has that.
Every work probably has that.
For sure.
And it's funny because people are like, how do you, because I try to really be nice. I know that's a weird thing to say.
No, but I think you excel at that.
To be nice.
Yeah.
I try really hard to be nice because to me, being nice doesn't cost me a dime.
Yep.
It doesn't cost me anything.
It's kindness.
But it might make someone else's life 5 times better.
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things I try really hard to do is just be nice. And so in doing that, I am really forgiving of other people who might step on my toes.
Mm-hmm.
And so, and then it's one of those things that I try really hard not to step on other people's toes. And so it's a really interesting combination. But again, it all reverts back to I want to love myself at the end of the day. And if I have made Nikel upset, if I've made Ashwani upset, guess what? My day isn't going to be good because I've made other people's day bad. I don't want to do that.
I get that.
And so loving myself and forgiving myself and taking accountability and actually trying to work through things is really, one of the better options I have. And so truly I want everyone just to really think about what it is you love about yourself.
Yeah.
I think it would be cool too to maybe give some best tips of like when you're having your hardest days, what is something you do to love yourself? Because I think there's people who are kind of going to be listening that are being like, well, I don't know how to love myself.
What do you think?
Yeah, I'd love to hear your input, Nikel.
Yes. Yeah, I was trying to think about, I guess for me, it's to be cognizant of what I'm letting in. So, as far as music, TV shows, it's really interesting because like, I feel like for me, there's a certain vibration that really loved like reality TV. There's certain reality TV. I liked the whole like brain, whatever. Like we said, turning it off.
I call it no-brainers.
No-brainers. And
Yeah.
I liked it too.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember how much I liked it. And so I'll try to get back on it. And I can't get there anymore because now everything that I've been taking in for like 2 years really has been all of the stuff that we're talking about now. And like, things going on in the world spiritually and like all these different rabbit holes. So it's hard to go back to that. So anyway, but also I like knowing that I'm listening to something that's like expanding my consciousness or that has some sort of positive effect.
Yeah.
Oh, that's interesting.
So that. And then for me, I mean, I guess, I don't know. I think that's probably one of the biggest ones for me right now, honestly, because a lot of the things that I'm like, I'm going to do that for me, but it's usually like, I'm going to do that for me because that's going to help me work more.
Ah, that's a good distinction.
That just was a reality for you just then. I
I
saw that
already
little
know.
Yeah.
I already know the story.
All
right.
Like go boom, and you go, oh shoot!
No.
I don't really do that for me. I do that for work.
Exactly. So I'm like, well, shit. So yeah.
I'm going to tell you. So
Oh.
one of the things, because I'm going to interrupt you just
Yeah.
because I want you to know that like the things that you are doing for yourself, even though they are doing it for work, they are doing it for you.
You're building your empire.
You're building your company, and that is self-love because you're building it for yourself. You're not working for someone else. You're building for yourself, and that is self-love because you want to provide for yourself.
And your
Yes.
daughter.
Yeah.
And so that is self-love.
Yeah.
And that's where things are starting to roll for you differently.
Mm-hmm.
So I do watch mindless TV. And
Yeah.
I call it mindless TV.
Mhm.
It's reality TV shows.
Mhm.
And the reason why I do that is because at work, I am so busy and I'm putting puzzles together when I'm putting spreadsheet dashboards together. I'm trying to figure out how to make this data come together in this beautiful picture to where they can analyze the data from 6 different data sources and into one view so that they can go, aha, that's what's happening.
Wow.
And it's a puzzle. And so I think so hard during the day. When I come home, I do want mindless TV. I don't have to think about it. It has nothing to do with me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just noise in the background.
Mhm.
And it's almost like a buzzing or a humming noise to
Mhm.
me now. It's just a, okay. And I just keep going with it because I do need that mindlessness.
Mhm.
But part of that mindlessness is to quiet my mind and to get me back to me.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where I feel like that's where self-love comes in for me,
Mhm.
is to giving myself that quieting of my brain and getting myself back to who I truly am. My work person is, I'm just that person at work. That's not who I am.
Mhm.
That's what I do. It's not who I am.
Right. It's not your identity.
It's not who I am.
Yeah.
And so, again, it's just a chapter.
Mm-hmm.
It's not my life.
Mm-hmm.
So just start thinking about those kinds of things. How about you?
Yeah, I agree with a lot with like Nicole, you sharing about TV and stuff. So I used to be a huge fan of Love Island, but I really can't stomach it anymore because it's really catty. It's a lot of game playing. It's a lot of those things that I don't align with. So I found my new favorite, which is Love on the Spectrum.
Oh yeah, that is a
And
good one.
neurodivergent people being
Yeah.
matched for Everyone Deserves Love. And it's like-minded, like you're getting people who are neurodivergent, their brains think differently. And it's the most sweetest, gentle series. I swear, I'll watch it over and over and over again. So I like the US and the Australia version. And I love watching those shows because they're helping those people that love is challenging for them. Meeting people like them is, or that they can relate to and to one another, is more challenging than, say, like, average person, where maybe they're not neurodivergent or neurotypical. So I love what you said about that, because that's what I'm mindful of, is watching what I'm watching, if it's TV, or because I won't watch any horror.
Right.
I don't like that vibration of killing people, of murders.
Same.
I don't usually like CSIs where it's a lot of murdery type stuff. Now I do like
Murdery.
I like BritBox, Brit TV, so I will watch a lot of those kind of every now and then detective shows. Like there was this one called Vera. I loved that British TV. But yeah, so it's being more mindful of that. But I'd say even like on my hardest day, one way I love myself is I check out from the world and I cocoon, and I'll watch something like that. Or even though it's got some dark tones to it, if I ever need to pick me up, I'll watch any of the Harry Potters because I love magic and mystery.
So really what I'm hearing, and all three of us,
Mhm.
is that a way to love ourselves is we raise our vibration.
Totally.
To a positive vibration through whatever we're watching,
Mhm.
Yes.
whatever we're
Listening
to.
Yeah.
That is how we are loving ourselves. And that's what I challenge you to do, since we have to wrap this up, right?
That was very
Oh,
subtle.
28 minutes. Yeah.
There's a 28
Sure,
minutes.
that's
We
fine.
should be wrapping that
I
baby
think we're
up.
wrapping
Sure.
around.
We're wrapping that up. Okay, so since we're wrapping that up, I am challenging our listeners to start finding a way of loving yourself, and start with raising your vibration to a more positive vibration, listening to positive things, this podcast, other things. But obviously, loving yourself is a great way to connect to spirit. And that was really the message here, is spirit is love.
Mm-hmm.
And that spirit message is easier to hear when you're loving yourself, because it's a loving message.
Yeah.
So with that, we're going to wrap this up. This is another episode of Mystic Spilling the Tea.
I'm Ashwani of Southern Fried Psychics, southernfriedpsychics.com.
I'm Leslie Hall, the Purple Rose Psychic, purplerosepsychic.com.
I'm Nicole with Rising Digital, risingdigitalstudio.com.
And we are
The Mystics Spilling the Tea.